Time now for our spotlight on the TikTok ban in the world of tech. I'm joined by Lisa Martin, research analyst at the Futurum Group. I'm glad you're here with us because obviously this has been a hot topic for weeks, and now we're really getting close. The Supreme Court has upheld the ban. What does this really mean? This is January 19. The new president doesn't come into the 20th, and I have a quote from him that I do want to read. But what does it mean right now?
Right now, Nicole, great to see you. It's really confusing because, as you mentioned, the Supreme Court upheld the ban this morning, which would mean that Apple and Google would have to pull it from their U.S. app stores. No new users could download it. But there's just confusion. We're hearing from the Trump administration that they want to save it, which actually sent stocks of Snap and Meta kind of tumbling yesterday, and even a little bit of volatility today. We've heard from the Biden administration signals that they're not going to put it into effect as of this coming Sunday. So we're in a really weird wait and see hour by hour time frame. The clock is ticking on TikTok.
It's really amazing. I mean, at this point now, we're seeing the volatility in some of these social media stocks, like you said, on each headline. I did read a quote now from incoming President Trump on Truth Social. He wrote, the Supreme Court, and this is his quote, "The Supreme Court decision was expected and everyone must respect it. My decision on TikTok will be made in the not too distant future, but I must have time to review the situation. Stay tuned." There's different scenarios, aren't they? I mean, at this point, you say you're not allowed, right? The App Store, you won't be able to get this in the United States. I mean, there's so many things to go around this, but he will look at this in his time, in the near future. Your thoughts there? What could he do?
He could actually delay the ban indefinitely, which would mean that users would still be able to download TikTok. We've heard from TikTok. We've also heard from users who are flocking to another Chinese-owned app called Rednote. The U.S. downloads increased over 200%. Year over year, this week alone. The content creators are speaking. We know that Trump was against TikTok in 2020, for it now, did really well with it during the last election. So I think what we're going to see is a stay here. I think TikTok will continue for a while. I know a lot of content creators and those that make money off TikTok will be very happy, but it's going to be a day-by-day situation that is clearly going to be breaking news.
We've heard a lot about Elon Musk and maybe him buying this or something. Sale, U.S. operations need to be sold. That's part of the deal if this is to stick around. Elon Musk's name has been thrown on there. Even Bobby Kotick from Activision, who got a lot of money on his Microsoft deal. Who are the people or what kind of companies could step in and buy this? And would ByteDance sell?
Well, ByteDance has actually said on TikTok that a sale isn't possible technologically, commercially, or legally. We have heard from folks like Frank McCourt, who's leading up Project Liberty, even Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank. They've raised about $20 billion to offer to buy TikTok, although the company has said it's not for sale and it's not possible technologically or legally. TikTok has also said, though, that it may give users the ability to download their personal information so they have that record if a sale happens or a ban comes into place.
Yeah, we had him here. I spoke with him here to discuss that exact question. And I did ask him, and you're right. He did say, look, if I can do it, I will. I'm checking it out and I'm raising the money. So he's been really on that for many months, to your point. There are folks who are saying, look, I could change my VPN. I could show I'm not in the United States and I could still download it. I mean, people are going to try to get savvy, aren't they?
They are. Like I mentioned, the Rednote app, Chinese owned, and it just has been spiking. It was #1 in the Apple App Store this week. The content creators are concerned. There's so much money in TikTok. Creators like Charlie D'Amelio and Addison Wright are making hundreds of thousands of dollars per TikTok video. What it would be analogous to if the ban goes into effect is mass layoffs of TikTok content creators, of employees of TikTok and ByteDance in the US. We wouldn't see that data reflected in labor markets because it's not part of that. But there's a big outcry from the content creators. Leave me alone. This is where I'm making a lot of money. I need to be able to do that for my income.
So, I mean, President Trump said he would like to save TikTok. I mean, he said that out loud. I'm paraphrasing. So let's see if he gets a chance to try to do that. But he wants to look at it more closely and get more details.
Yes.
When I think about TikTok the way it is, what is the big, I know, right? You're not allowed to use it on if you have government devices and things like that. I've heard a lot about TikTok over the many years, and TikTok is not on my phone. But what is, let's go backwards for the folks who don't fully understand. What's the problem with TikTok?
So there's two concerns. One is this is an issue of national security. There's about 170 million Americans that use TikTok that are sharing a ton of data. The average person is on TikTok about an hour and a half a day. That accumulates to about 22 days a year. So there's a tremendous amount of data here that the US and the Supreme Court have been concerned could be utilized for content manipulation. The other side of the coin is saying this is an issue of First Amendment violation and freedom of speech. So we have these two polarizing sides. We've got folks politically on both sides who are for the ban, for the sale, against either. So it's really an interesting issue of freedom of speech versus national security.
Right, understood. All right, so look, we'll have to wait for more details and more developments, but as it stands right now, it has been, Supreme Court has made its decision, the ban is in effect, we have to respect it, and we'll see what happens in the next few days. That being said, I'm not even going to ask you who's going to be the beneficiary. Oh, it's going to be Meta and Reels and all these things, right? I mean, it's going to just be all the other names, right?
Yes, yes. It will be. We're already seeing some volatility, like I mentioned, with Meta, Facebook, and Instagram owner of Messenger, as well as Snap and other platforms. So ultimately, I think the content creators are going to win here, and we're going to hear, I think, from a lot of them very vocally in the coming hours.
All right, let's get to AI, the hot topic. What are some of the predictions you have for 2025? It's certainly going to be still a front and center story. Many people we're still in the AI revolution. They don't think it's slowing down or forgotten or not a real thing. What do you predict here? Why will we be talking about AI in 2025?
We're going to be talking about a lot of things with respect to AI. I'll distill it down to about three things. Agentic AI, we'll talk about that in a second. AI PCs, the surge of AI PCs, and AI and cybersecurity. The Futurum Group did some great research, and whether it's the rise of agentic AI, which will completely disrupt how enterprise software is consumed, to this acceleration of the impact of AI PCs. One thing is clear from Futurum's research, and that is for businesses, differentiators are going to be agility, innovation, and intelligence. Futurum data show that about 30% of routine software interactions are going to be, by the end of 2025, mediated by AI agents rather than people. We're also seeing a lot of the OEMs involved, major PC OEMs involved in this market transition to AI PCs, which are going to make us far more productive.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to hit pretty much every division, every sector, right?
It will. Every sector, every industry will be affected by this. The thing that we're seeing from the PC OEMs is they're really leaning into this market transition. We're going to see more competition, if you can even imagine that, amongst the silicon vendors, the Qualcomms, Intels, AMDs, to make their processors and their systems faster so that the AI PC, which has AI natively built into its hardware and software, can allow us as humans to be more productive. There's even rumors that NVIDIA is going to get into this market in the next 6 to 12 months.
Yeah, understood. Is there anything you're really worried about when it comes to AI? I mean, theoretically, we talk about jobs and jobs that could be lost, but theoretically, it should boost productivity, make you, when you have a chat with the agents, they're fully informed. In fact, they answer better than humans, right? Things like that. Yeah. But is there anything you're super worried about? Because there was that conversation with regulators, lawmakers, about, is AI moving too fast? And somehow everybody forgot that conversation.
There are definitely concerns. I was just on the radio, iHeartRadio, yesterday, talking about the concerns of the banking industry and hundreds of thousands of jobs being augmented or taken. What we have to consider is that technology, it's inherently neutral. It's neither good nor bad. We know that the malicious actors have had access to AI for a long time. So from a cybersecurity front, the defenders need to have access to it as well. It needs to be an integrated part of every industry's cybersecurity posture to mitigate damages from breaches and to prevent breaches from happening. I think what we are going to see from an industrial revolution perspective is we're going to see a lot of jobs created. There will be jobs that change. I think one of the primary areas we'll see it first is in a contact center. But we know that AI will also create jobs. It will make us much more productive. It will make us much more efficient. But time will tell what the rub is going to be between jobs that will be changed and jobs that will be added.
Great to see you, Lisa. Lisa Martin.
You too.
Happy New Year. Thank you very much. Lisa Martin, research analyst for the Futurum Group. Thanks for joining us on the show.